I'm joined with the great Frank Callahan from Golden Caribou, who hit one of the big drill holes that's being talked about at the conference. Frank, thanks so much for joining us.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
So Frank, before we get into the drill hole, I got to just talk about the conference here. At the time that you're sitting down, gold's hitting all-time highs. Yet the theme that we keep hearing about is that it hasn't reflected into the equity prices yet. What's your take on the lack of money flowing into the juniors despite the fact that we're hitting all-time highs?
Difficult to explain, but I sort of use the analogy that's like a party, and you're having a party that starts at 9 o'clock at night. It's 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and all the chips and pops all out, and we're waiting for everybody to arrive, and no one's come yet. But the really good partiers come later.
But you sense it's coming.
It's coming. There's no doubt about it. It's coming. I've seen this happen at least twice earlier in my career, and it's going to come.
So you guys hit a pretty big drill hole that you guys just announced earlier this week.
Yeah.
Was it 1.46 grams per ton over 136 meters?
Yeah, pretty significant. It was a bit of a blind hole. We'd found it initially in trenching. In this area, it's got a whole lot of gravel that's covering the whole thing, so there's no real outcrop. And so based on what we had in some trenching, it was running about 5 grams in trenching. We drilled it based on some geophysics that had actually been flown earlier by our previous company, but now owned by Osisko Development. They actually had flown the airborne on it. Using that airborne, we actually spotted the drill hole and pretty much drilled it. I mean, we can't say blind, but we didn't know, there's no outcrop, and put it in, and the results are what they said, what you just said they were. And there's screen metallics that are being done on that. So we're expecting that to come back, those results to come back in another 2 weeks, and we'll re-release the hole. I actually expect the values to be a little higher.
What's the response been like? Has your phone been ringing at all since putting it out?
Phone has been ringing. It has been ringing. It's been pretty good. It's not evidenced in the market. We had a good 2.2 million share volume day on the day of the news release. It's fallen off a little bit yesterday, but these things will take a little bit of time to catch on. And people that actually had participated in private placements, in the earlier private placement, everybody's seen a double on their money. So there's profit taking. They've got warrants, and I encourage them to exercise their sell their shares, exercise their warrants, and the company could use the money, and you want the shares.
So you're looking at the data here, and you previously were involved with the Barkerville discovery. How comparable is the data?
It's similar, but it's different. So the discovery that we made back in 2000, this is, the significance of this discovery and the discovery that we did 24 years ago is that this is the next discovery that's since then. So it's very significant. We've found rock or gold in a rock formation that really hadn't been recognized as being gold bearing before in this type of rock, and it's really significant. It's only the beginning of it.
What's it like stepping into the role as the CEO today versus back then?
We need more young people in the market. The difficulty is that Bitcoin and other things have come about since I initially got in the market, and it's just encouraging other people to learn how money can be made in trading junior stocks and especially exploration stocks. People chase the drill bit, and it usually proves really worthwhile.
Yeah, it's my theory on that is that once we see a few big wins, it kind of snowballs, and so there's a handful of retail investors who make money. They go tell their friends, or they're loud on social media,
and that's exactly what happens. It's the snowball effect. The taxi driver hasn't started telling us to buy stocks yet, so we know it's still early in the game. Discoveries make things happen, and just like what you said, people will make money and they'll tell their friends, and that brings more people into the market. And that's just starting now, I believe.
Yeah, and that's we look back on the cannabis days when we first launched the platform, the deepdive.ca, and I mean there were Facebook groups with 25,000 active members talking about the stock market, and we're talking retail investors, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker,
sure,
talking about stocks. And I look around on social media, I don't really see that a whole lot anymore.
No,
not certainly not in the junior mining space. And I feel like I mean maybe I'm crazy, but I think that that's coming.
It's definitely the writing's on the wall that it will happen, and more discoveries and more things happening. Like even up in our neck of the woods, there's we've got the Barkerville is actually going into production, into a larger production than what we initially did when we started it off. It's going to start doing somewhere in the neighborhood of over 200,000 ounces a year for the first couple of years. That's huge. Yeah. And you got the Blackwater deposit not far from us, another 12 million ounce deposit. So you got these large things that are going to come on stream, and the shareholders of them are going to they're going to do really well. And that's just starting. So it's needed a gold market to happen, and gold's trading over 3,400 Canadian now. So if you're mining gold in British or in Canada, you're doing real well.
So we look at Golden Caribou. What's the near-term news flow look like? If I'm an investor and I'm watching, or I have you on my watch list and I'm trying to follow the company, what should I be looking out for over the next year?
The discovery just getting larger now. So now we think we have a handle. We think we have a handle on it. Looks like we may actually have two parallel trends. We've been working on one. We had a 263 meter intercept. It wasn't ore grade per se, but just gives you an idea just how large the system is. It's massive. And then this other hole that we've just reported a couple of days ago is definitely. I mean, ore is a forward-looking statement, but it's grade it's a mineable width and mineable grade. So there's more of those coming. We got a couple more drill holes that we're waiting for the assays to come. And the screen metallics I was telling you about, that's still to come too. And then stepping out on this thing and making it larger. And then that brings in more public, and it's going to start. The seniors will start looking at this too, because it's a very significant discovery in something that really hadn't been recognized before.
Are you in contact with many of the senior execs at gold companies still?
No. No, well, I've been retired for 10 years, so I came back for this one here because staff thought they'd seen what we'd discovered some 20 odd years ago, and they were very right. And so it's following up on that. And I'm seeing them here at Beaver Creek. There's a few people that I haven't seen, but it's good to be back in the game, and this is fun.
Have you been at Beaver Creek the last couple of years?
No, it's the first time.
Wow.
Yes.
So it's
it's exciting.
It's funny too, because like we hear about how Frank Giustra came back.
Yeah, he's here,
and
Sean Ruzin's here. All the big guys are here. No, this is good, and this is very good.
Well, Frank, thanks for sitting down here and doing this, and congratulations on the big hole.
Thank you.
As shareholders, we're thrilled to see that, and please keep hitting those holes.
Yes.
And keep coming back on here and updating our audience on the results.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here. Thank you.